Yes, my friends, welcome back. In today's latest news, we discuss goalkeepers for next season as we have big updates around Andre Onana and Maignan. To move on, we discuss the potential exits of both Aubameyang and Kouliably to the Saudi League. And of course, to end things, we discuss international news involving Levi Colwill and Mudryk. So right now, my friends, tons of things to break down and discuss. I want to say quickly thank you to everyone that watched yesterday's video where I discuss my concerns with how wide the gap is now between us and Man City and things that we must address, things that Pochettino can help us address to be able to try and close this ridiculous gap now. So of course, if you guys want to watch that video, it will be linked above in the cards. And my friends, hit that like button. Let's go over 2k likes and without wasting any more time. So right now, let's start with some of the positive news today. And Levi Colwill has now been called up to the England national team squad. Now, of course, this comes at the expense of both Lewis Dunk and Jude Bellingham, who have been omitted due to injuries and matters like that. But the fact that Colwill is next on the list to become part of that team is, it speaks volumes about this kid's ability and his game. And in my opinion, Colwill is the future of the England national team. I look at our defenders. We've got a lot of great young English talent in defence. They all have pace. They're all tactically aware. They're all very good on the ball. They can play out from the back. They can play between the lines. And I feel like if England can start to harness the talents of like Levi Colwill's, guys, plus a lot more, I feel like from a tactical point of view, that would allow us to actually push our defensive line up and allow us to actually press teams higher up the field. That could be the thing this national team needs in the future to hopefully try and to secure some international silverware. Time will tell, but this is an amazing opportunity for Levi Colwill. Not only could he potentially get games against, North Macedonia, Malta, but once he's finished his duties with the national team squad, he can still take part in the England under-21 national team, of course, for this summer's under-21 European Championships, which for me is going to be a very big and exciting European Championship. I'm really excited for that, and it really feels like Colwill now has an opportunity this summer to not only impress the England national team squads over all age groups, but also to impress Pochettino during pre-season with the fact that Badiashile is currently out with injuries. So this is his moment that he needs to grasp and take. I feel very confident by that. I knew that eventually when he, of course, made his loan spell to Brighton, it would take him some time to get into the first team, but I was expecting him to do so because this guy is very special with how he plays up in the back. And I do feel like a lot of us now are very familiar now with his game, his qualities, what he can bring. And for me, this guy is the future of our defense. It really is that simple. So it's going to be a very cool summer this season. I'm here for it for sure. Right now, my friends, let's discuss these massive updates coming out from this country and Serie A involving new goalkeepers for next season. Quick plug. Right now, there's crazy sales happening on the club's megastore. This is your final opportunity to get some of this season's merchandise for incredible discounts, and also use the sales as an opportunity to get your dad something good for Father's Day. You can get the home kit, away kit and third kit for 60% off. As you guys can see, if anything's of interest to you, of course use my links below in the description and use my code NINI10 to get 10% off your final order. Now, we've had news from the Evening Standards, but we've had news from Matt Law, and for me, when certain journals like Matt Law in particular, confirm stories, these guys have like real deal sources and plugs behind the scenes. So if they're reporting something, most times this is like concrete fact. And at this point in time, we are currently targeting 2 goalkeepers. And naturally, as we already know by now, they're both Andre Onana and Maignan. Now, Pochettino has been debriefed about potentially working again with Kepa. And let's not panic straight away just yet. It comes down to the fact that Kepa is on ridiculous wages, and due to these stupid wages that someone decided to give this guy, it makes it very hard to actually let him go during the summer because most clubs can't afford his wages. Does Kepa really want to lose out on this money right now? I'm not too sure. And in the end, we're kind of stuck with him. But ideally, Pochettino wants a new goalkeeper for next season. I'm personally starting to get the vibe that whoever's the most affordable between Maignan and Onana will be the new goalkeeper for next season. Currently in Italy, there are some valuations for Onana, and they're around £50 million. But in the case of Maignan, there are some quotes going around suggesting that Milan want around €80 million, and that makes a lot of sense because they can't afford to lose one of their best players, one of the leaders in the dressing room and in that team, one of the guys that was key to Milan winning the Scudetto 2 seasons back. So currently, you'd think logically that, Inter Milan or Onana is the play right now because Inter Milan are set to cash in big because they only signed Onana on the free from last season. And if they sell him, that is pure accounting profit that can go a long way in helping them reinvest their squad for next season. Regardless, Matt Law reports that we are scheduled now to hold talks with both AC Milan and Inter Milan. And let's start first with AC Milan. Now, they were very close to securing Loftus-Cheek. That was going to be for £50 million plus add-ons on top. But since Massara and Maldini got sacked, this transfer deal has been put on standby at this point in time. Who knows if Ruben's still going to make the move? I mean, he's very close to actually signing for them, and ideally we need to start selling some players at this point in time. But at the same time, Milan are also showing a lot of interest in Christian Pulisic. They feel like, due to him being an American international player, they feel like they could earn quite a bit of money due to the marketability of Christian Pulisic. But of course, interestingly too, they're keeping watchful eyes over Chukwuemeka. Now, before we signed him last summer for around £20 million, AC Milan were actively trying to secure him, but of course we beat them and won the race. Obviously, Chukwuemeka, we've seen his talent and his promise. I don't think he's had as much consistent game time, and I do feel like maybe under Frank Lampard when he became the interim manager, it was a little bit disappointing that he didn't get as much game time, but maybe he wasn't impressing Lampard as much behind the scenes. Who knows? Now, could Milan be thinking, if we scrap this Ruben deal, target Chukwuemeka, we put our eggs in his basket because this guy has the potential to really grow and grow over the seasons. And that means that his market value will grow and grow and grow if his game, of course, matches that. And he could be a player that could sell for tons of money in the future if he develops properly. So I can understand why AC Milan might be stalling things with Ruben just to see if there's a possibility now to do some business to get Chukwuemeka. So I guess we watch this space. In the case of Inter Milan, we all know what's happening right now. They're interested in Chalobah. They also like Edouard Mendy. And of course, we're waiting to see the final conclusion behind Romelu Lukaku because as we already know, Pochettino is more than fine working with Lukaku again. And before Lukaku left us last summer, him and Todd Boehly do have a pretty decent relationship. And Todd Boehly actually tried to persuade him to remain again until Lukaku was like, no, I do want to go back to Inter Milan. Now, Lukaku is still adamant that he wants to remain at Inter. Now the Champions League is over, you're thinking to yourself, Inter, I know you've got the finances now to make something happen. But on top of Lukaku, of course, the interest involving Lautaro Martinez. This is now an official confirmation. He is a player that Mauricio Pochettino really likes. And you're starting to think to yourself, both clubs like players from either clubs. There could be great opportunities to do good business. Anyway, we can't afford to stall too much though, because Man United are our main competitors for both Maignan and Onana. Of course, the Hares had a very bad season, as we all know. And of course, Ten Hag preferably wants to work with his former goalkeeper at Ajax and Andre Onana. Now, before I give some thoughts and opinions, there has been some interesting developments now coming out from Italian reports, and essentially it comes down to this. A journalist has spoken to Onana's communication manager, who's called Jordi Pasquale, and here's what he had to basically say. And as he says, let's get ready, because we met Jordi Pasquale, who made us understand that within a week, they bring a Chelsea offer of 60 million. I didn't understand whether that was in pounds or euros. If it's true, I can say that this was Onana's last game. Now, I can't really believe that we're going to pay cash 60 million like that, unless Inter Milan are also plotting to sign some players from us. And of course, when it comes to this whole accounting stuff, in terms of how you account for these deals, there's lots of flexibility and workarounds that are in place right now. If we can get some guarantees that Inter Milan will reinvest some of our money on Onana back into signing players from us. So there's some potential here. And in my opinion, I'm going to keep things very quick. You guys have heard consistently from me for how many months now that Onana is the number one keeper that I want to see. I mean, I've spoken about the intangibles, the leadership. And I'm actually really happy that he played really well in the final against Man City. I feel like it was a great showcase and advertisement for his game. And I think that made people realise just how good he is. I mean, I've spoken about the sweeper keeping ability, but when you're seeing it live for yourself, right, in terms of how he's so composed that literally being on the same line as his defence, pushing into midfield. Now, we saw that mad pass he played in the final to that kick-started that move near the end for Inter Milan. When you have a keeper like this, who has that composure, that confidence, that arrogance in his game, they're the qualities that all top goalkeepers need to have. And it's kind of mad that a few years back, we came close to trying to sign him. Onana, whilst he was at Alex, was forcing a move to us. Lampard was a big fan, but nothing materialised. But it does seem like now, after he's fully announced himself as one of the best goalkeepers in Europe, we can't afford to miss out, because I feel like this is a very transformational signing and he'll take our attacking game to the next level. So that's all the latest news involving goalkeepers, but it's starting to feel like things are starting to cook up now for Andre Onana. So my friends, let's now move on to discussing the other reports involving potential exits to the Saudi League. So many of them have money to splurge on signing top quality European class players. And now that we know that Kante is very close to signing for Al Ittihad, that are not completely over signing players from us, because currently they are holding talks with Kouliably over a potential move this summer. Very interesting. Now, he's not the only player that could be going. Aubameyang too is attracting interest from Al Ittihad, Al Hilal. I know my pronunciation is awful. I know. But all I'm thinking though is these two players in particular are on massive contracts. They earn a lot of money, and getting these guys off the wage bill, guys where realistically from next season they could be made to plus requirements. Now in the case of Aubameyang, I think that we completely did this guy dirty. Nothing worked in his favour. I'm not very critical of him. I think it was kind of just done pretty bad in my opinion. But in the case of Kouliably, yes, his season didn't go to plan, but he did improve as the season was coming to an end. But at the same time, now that Thiago Silva has confirmed that he wants to remain here with his family, with Levi Colwill set to return back, he's been told that he will get opportunities for next season, alongside Badiashile, Fofana, and maybe even Trevor Chalobah. Someone in defence has to go, and I think for me, the guy who's the oldest, on the biggest money, let's try and get rid of him. And the massive bonus is that we should be expecting a decent amount of money in terms of a transfer fee. Now, I'm imagining it won't be like 50-40 million euros. Right now in the media, we are really overvaluating most of these guys, and it gets you thinking, why are we purposefully overvaluing players when we keep reporting that we need to sell to reinvest? Because when you consider his book value, the player cost, and the fact that if we don't get rid of him, he could just be eating up wages for how many years, I feel like let's hope we can find a good arrangement now and actually sell him to Saudi Arabia. So that is the latest news. Right now, Kouliably is interested in the proposals now coming out from Saudi Arabia for good reason. I mean, it's crazy wages and money. But I guess, my friends, we continue to watch this space. We're moving very slow right now, but things are slowly starting to simmer, and hopefully we start seeing some incomings and some outgoings very, very soon. So right now, my friends, let's end things with a quick update at the end. And a quick update, Matt Law's reported that Mudryk has made himself available for the Ukrainian under-21 team as they get ready, of course, for the under-21 European Championships. Now, for me, I like this news. Mudryk had difficulties last season. I felt like in general, most attacking players suffered because we were constantly changing the attacking plan, combining different attacking players together. It's impossible to build consistency. And Mudryk, his personality, he's a perfectionist. He's a very driven person, and he wants to make sure that he fully maximizes his career. He wants to come back ready for Pochettino, and he wants to find his confidence and form back again. So it's good that not only is he representing his nation in the Euros, but he's also humble enough, of course, to, I guess drop down a level in that sense to make sure that he's coming back ready for next season. I mean, that's what you can really ask for, to be fair with you. But Law reports that Pochettino is pretty impressed by this admission from Mudryk, and considering how he started compared to how his season ended, you can tell the confidence, it left him. And players need confidence to play their game. Obviously, Mudryk will feel even more confident now that a manager like Pochettino that actually utilises players of his profile and his needs. This could allow Mudryk to go to a new level, hopefully, and start to actually show some of that potential that made us pay like the 62 million to sign him from Shakhtar Donetsk. But you know what? I feel like we can't forget the fact that when he signed for us, you know, he was literally having pre-season with Shakhtar. Their season was over. So in that sense, he was always going to be pretty much behind from like a developmental point of view, right? So again, I'm really excited now to watch this Euros even more. I want to see how Mudryk does for the Ukrainian national team, as well as all the top talents that will be playing for their nations. Coles, Lewis Hawes, plus a lot more. So it's going to be a very exciting Under-21 European Championships. My friends, on that note, that's all the latest news that dropped today. Share your thoughts and opinions, of course, and make sure you watch my video discussing my issue with Man City and this incredible gap between both clubs at this point in time. I'd love to read some of your thoughts and opinions. So my friends, I'm in the FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.